Colin had a problem and a microphone to spare. Thomas took it up and so the podcast went to air. For weeks and months they trolled through every single DVD. They've unwrapped all the ones they can and now they're cellulose free. Now they're cellulose free.
Hello dear listener and welcome to Cellulose Free. My name is Colin and with me as always is my fellow film watcher, compadre and son, Thomas.
Hi, hello.
What you been up to? Gotcha!
Yeah, you know...
Didn't I?
No, you didn't. Because it was what I was expecting.
Oh.
And have always been expecting, because it's the only...
Nobody expects.
The only reasonable question you could actually ask.
Okay. What have you been up to?
Oh, the usual. Wading through phone trees. Getting mad at systems that don't work.
Good.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
They don't work.
They don't.
No. And what is sad is that people are paid large sums of money to make them work.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't.
They don't.
Either that or they're paid to make sure that they are really frustrating to use. Just to demoralise and...
What I want out of a phone tree is something that vaguely sounds like what you're going for, followed by two other things that aren't related, and then you go into that first thing, and it's another set of options, one of which is definitely what you wanted.
Yeah. And then you have the hold music, and then you hear the phone actually ringing someone at the other end.
Yes.
And then it hangs up. So that you have to start again.
Fortunately, I managed to avoid that.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, the system just doesn't work.
Yeah, I spent my Saturday?
I don't know.
I spent some time wading through the murky waters of MyGov.
The Australian government's method of slow torture.
Yeah. It's supposed to make things easier.
Oh,
and
yes.
It doesn't.
Yes. Anything else you've been up to?
In the past week?
Yeah. Or we could pick a random week 3 years ago.
Well, that wouldn't be useful information.
No.
No. No, I don't think I've done much else in the past week.
No. Fair enough. I donated plasma, and I have been wandering around taking photos of... Did I mention this last week, or has it only been a week?
Yeah, I think you mentioned it last week.
My ghost sign hunting has been quite fruitful this week. So, yes, I took some more photos of ghost signs and some buildings that are a little worse for wear, so that was fun. But other than that, no, nothing much. So, we might get into it.
Right.
There was one of those pregnant pauses that we usually save up for the end of the podcast.
Yeah.
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 Okay, so this week we are watching a film that we do not have any hard copy of. We're actually attempting to play it on the YouTubes.
Right.
Yes, I know. And I am using an account that shouldn't put ads every 3 seconds throughout it. And that film is The Trouble with Harry.
Right.
An Alfred Hitchcock film from 1955, I think.
I don't know, you're the one with the information.
I'm the one with the information. Yes, 1955. Okay. Shall I hand you the plot synopsis so that you can read it, as is the tradition?
Sure.
Okay. He's going to read it blind, so please forgive him for any slip-ups. I think just the top one from IMDb. It's nice, short, sweet.
The trouble with Harry is that he is dead, and while no one really minds, everyone feels responsible. After Harry's body is found in the woods, several locals must determine not only how and why he was killed, but what to do with the body.
Good. It's a mystery/comedy, which is an interesting mix. My recollection is that it's quite a fun film, but it's very, very, very many years since I last watched it and first watched it, which were the same time. And it being school holidays, we're going to drag the other ratbags in, and they're going to experience, I think, possibly all of their first experiences with an Alfred Hitchcock film. So, Mr. Hitchcock, you have a lot... What am I trying to say?
There's a lot riding on this.
That's it.
Yeah.
There's a lot riding on this Mr. Hitchcock. And if they're not impressed, then there will be trouble with Harry. We're going to wind up the YouTubes. We're going to watch this with assorted other people. And we'll catch you on the flip side.
Turn to side B. B.
Be good.
Bees.
Mongrel.
Turn to side B's.
Turn in your grave. Okay. Stop. So, what did you think?
There's some very funny bits in it, and they are very funny bits.
They are.
But even for a little over an hour and a half,
Yep.
it does go on a bit.
It does, doesn't it? It has got very much a feel of a stage play in the way that it's produced. And I don't know whether that is the case, whether it's based on a stage play or what, but the pacing is such that it's paced for a live audience, I guess, if that makes sense. There are pauses between lines for the laugh to happen, I guess. And maybe fair enough, but it is a long-feeling film, and in some ways that is deliberate, because, oh dear, here we go again. Mm-hmm. But there are points where it does feel like it's overstaying its welcome. That is, I think, more than made up for by just some of the classic lines and the whimsy of it all. This is a very serious matter, and yet it's incredibly whimsical. I'm hoping you took some notes.
The only thing I ended up writing down was
I can
one
guess what
line.
it was. Oh, was it the I'll pay for the other half later? Tomorrow?
Sam Marlowe, one of the characters, picks up a cigarette packet, cuts it in half, and says...
Lengthways, so the cigarettes get all cut in half.
Yeah, I'll buy the other half of this tomorrow.
Which is just ludicrous. In that, if this was a sensible world, if he was going to buy half a packet, he would have taken full-length cigarettes out of... It was funnier in visual, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Very much a visual gag.
Yeah.
It's interesting, when he came in at a scene where... And it was in a location that was used quite often, and that was under a tree. And it was fairly obviously on a stage set. But what she didn't see was what that set was being matched up to. And that was the live area in which the film was set. And the colours were just absolutely glorious. The autumn or fall leaves and all of the trees were turning. And I thought it matched quite well.
Yeah.
But very much the cinematography took advantage of the wonderful scenery that was around and set the scene for this little place where everyone pretty much knows everyone except for a whole lot of things that they don't. Which, again, doesn't make a lot of sense in saying it, but all of these neighbours they are neighbours but don't know each other's first names and um, and have never invited each other over for morning tea or anything like that.
But the moment they do, they're all falling in love with each other.
That's right. So in a lot of ways, it's much like the modern world, apart from the falling in love with one another. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I think the pacing was very much of its time, and I don't think, or I think it would be very, very difficult to pull it off, a modernisation of it. That being said, I have not watched A Weekend at Bernie's, which I believe involves dragging a body around everywhere, and
yes,
and there's another one more recently with Daniel Radcliffe, the Swiss Army.
He's been in a lot of things recently.
He has.
He's been having a wonderful time.
He has, and I say good on him. I think he plays a dead body in the
Swiss Army Man.
Swiss Army Man. Right.
Yes.
There we go. Yes. Again, dealing with a troublesome dead body, I guess. I haven't seen it, so I don't know. So maybe the premise is well and truly able to be pulled off in a modern setting, but this particular plot, I don't think you could. I don't know. I'm talking rubbish.
What is there to add other than better pacing, really?
Yeah. The characters were wonderful.
Yep.
The kid. That kid could act.
Yeah?
Yeah, he did a great job. The scene with the rabbit. What are you going to do with the rabbit? Well, it's already earned me a frog. So now, as I said, we did watch it on YouTube, and the legality was somewhat dubious, but it's been up on YouTube for a while, so I don't think they're terribly concerned about taking it down.
Which is especially weird, given that it is available to buy or rent properly, also on YouTube.
Yeah. Okay. Yep, I've got nothing to add. I think it's worth a look at, but yes, be prepared as far as it aging, as far as the pacing is concerned. But there's some classic characterization, classic lines, and classic Alfred Hitchcock whimsy.
It is largely timeless, I'd say.
Yeah. There wasn't, apart from possibly the deputy sheriff having to use someone's phone. That was really the only thing that took it out of time.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I've got nothing else to say. I'm glad we did it.
Yeah.
Are you glad we did it?
Yeah, that was worth it. Good.
All right. We shall move on. And we've got nothing, as far as I'm aware, discuss in any way, shape or form in a untitled segment. So we'll keep on moving on.
Pick a film for next week so we can go to bed.
And it's your turn.
It is my turn. And I have just now made the astonishing error of clicking yes to synchronize, because I just sort of do it automatically, don't I?
I find my synchronization occurs fairly quickly now. And that I can still do things whilst it's synchronizing.
Well, yes, I can, but
but you don't dare.
I want to make sure that nothing new has come up that I should be aware of.
Right. Okay.
I doubt it.
So this is suggesting that you have not got a film in mind for us to watch next week.
No, not particularly.
So you are going to throw that decision at the My Movies database app, and once it's synchronized, you're going to give your iPad a shake, and it is going to select a film from your list of films that you want to revisit.
Or visit for the first time.
Yes. Indeed.
As the case may be.
That's right.
Yours is largely revisit.
That's right. Yes. Sorry, I'm being selfish here and projecting myself onto your situation, which is wrong. He's shaken it. I was mid-sentence, and he's shaking his iPad, and he goes, he's shaking it again.
Yeah. Oh, okay. That's a hard swerve. Okay.
Is it another sublime to the ridiculous?
It's something.
It's something?
It's certainly something.
Is it something that you are revisiting?
It is something that I'm revisiting.
Okay.
And not for the first time either.
Wow.
It's
okay. So
I've seen a couple of viewings.
Right. Okay.
Yes. So, stop me when you know what I'm talking about.
I shall.
This film is from 2014. It stars Emily Blunt. It is an action movie.
Oh, okay. Is it that old? Does it also star Tom Cruise?
It does also star Tom Cruise.
Excellent.
Would you like to buzz in?
I would like to buzz in. It's funny you said it stars Emily Blunt, and I'm thinking, what do I know that Emily Blunt's been in? And of course my brain was going like having a guilt trip as to, I know that Emily Blunt's a fairly well-known name, but what do I know her in? And then the penny dropped. We are watching Edge of Tomorrow.
Yes.
Live, Die, Repeat. What's the other name for it? The Japanese...
hold on. We'll get there. I assure you, we'll get there.
well, I've got the book that it's based on. Oh.
Also known as...
Die something...
All You Need Is Kill.
All You Need Is Kill. Okay, so... Oh, good. It's funny that we have both watched this a number of times because it's a Groundhog Day movie.
It is.
It's one that I'm... did I mark that as one that I would like to revisit?
Question. Let's have a look here. Yes.
Good.
Yes. And Unseen by Triplets.
Yeah. Look, we might make it a family viewing. I think they're old enough to... There's a couple of jump scares or three that may freak out some of them, that are somewhat susceptible to jump scare reactions, but yeah, cool.
Yeah.
All right, for those of you who have been living under a shrubbery, would you please tell our dear listener who is under that category what
Edge of Tomorrow
is about?
An alien race... Oh, actually, hold on. That sentence doesn't seem to make... That description seems a little dodgy.
Is it off the back of the case?
It's off the unscanned back of the case, so I can't verify whether it's actually dodgy or not.
So the back cover isn't...
No.
It's another unscanned back cover.
Yes, with description.
With a description. How did they verify it? Oh dear, this is dodgy. Alright, find another description.
I'm just going to read it as it is.
Okay, do that.
Yeah. An alien race, undefinable by any existing military unit.
Good.
That's the bit that got to me immediately.
Yeah.
The rest seems fine, but that...
Tom Cruise is a military unit.
Has launched a relentless attack on Earth, and Major William Cage finds himself dropped into a suicide mission. Killed within minutes, Cage is thrown into a time loop, forced to live out the same brutal combat over and over, fighting and dying again and again. Training alongside warrior Rita Vrataski, his skills slowly evolve and each battle moves them one step closer to defeating the enemy in the intense action thriller. That
Not
bit
just intense action
also
thriller.
a little dodgy.
The intense action thriller.
I suspect on the back of the case it might actually be in this intense action thriller, or possibly that sentence goes on a bit. But I don't know, because it just stops there in the description.
Okay, stuff happens over and over again until, I guess, maybe some kind of resolution.
Yes.
We won't give that away.
I can confirm that the movie does end.
Yes, it does. Otherwise, we'd still be watching it from our first viewing.
It runs for an hour and 53 minutes, and then it ends.
Right. Good. Okay. Do you wish to say anything before we wrap this thing up and go to bed?
Well,
or stay up longer?
Yeah.
Or...
I'm not going to bed just yet.
Okay.
It's just barely 9 p.m. now.
Right.
Okay. It's nowhere near late enough.
Oh dear, you're giving our dear listener a view behind the curtain again as to our recording time.
Well,
we've gone to so many pains to not reveal such things by saying, "What are we watching today?" And
we operate on a 24-hour production cycle.
Okay. So we're waffling.
Yeah.
We've got to give Helen a half-hour episode. So let's.
We start recording, and by that time, 24 hours later, it's up, and you can listen to it.
That's right.
On all your podcast platforms of choice. And YouTube.
Unlike how it used to be, where we'd end 9:30, and then I'd spend the next 3 or 4 hours editing,
which was not sustainable.
It was not, but I sustained it anyway.
Yeah.
Until this new season, the new series, where couldn't do it. Yeah. Anything you wish to add before we?
No.
All right.
I think we're good.
So, Die Another Day is what we...
No, that's Bond. That's a Bond movie.
Edge of Tomorrow.
Yes.
Is what we're watching next week. We hope that you can join us. Same bat time, same bat channel. But until then...
Or a different bat channel.
Or another one, yes. Yeah. We're on many platforms. Some of which aren't available in certain countries. We have no control over that. But until then, we'll catch you next time.
Bye. You have been listening to Cellulose Free. Your hosts were Colin, who produces and edits the show, and Thomas, who makes the artwork and music. Cellulose Free is recorded in the Deranged Cat Studios in scenic Tasmania, Australia. We keep track of our extensive physical media collection through My Movies, which we highly recommend. You can find links to that, as well as other places you can find us, in the show notes. Cellulose Free is a Hi Hello production.
Okay, it was a short one, but I've still got tingles. Dear.